The movie begins in Los Angeles, where police are in a gunfight with 4 robbers at a bank in Lincoln Heights. 2 robbers stay inside with hostages, while the other 2, wearing body armor and carrying rifles, fight the cops and overpower them. A SWAT team arrives. Officers Jim and Brian rappel from a helicopter to the bank roof with 2 others. They tunnel down to the storeroom and find a safe path to the lobby using a spy camera. Meanwhile, snipers take positions on a nearby building, and another team approaches from the ground. At that moment, one of the robbers outside tries to escape in a getaway car, but a sniper takes him out with 1 clean shot. The other robber continues to fight, but the ground unit soon reaches him and takes him down as well. The 2 robbers inside begin to panic, and the ground unit sends in a secure phone for a SWAT negotiator to arrange the release of the hostages. While the negotiator speaks with the robbers, Lieutenant Velasquez calls his team inside the bank and tells them to wait, but Brian ignores the order. He drops into the storeroom, forcing Jim to follow him. Brian sneaks into the back of the main lobby to get a good position to shoot the robbers. Velasquez keeps calling him, but Brian ignores every call. Growing more nervous by the second, one of the robbers grabs a woman and aims his gun at her, ready to shoot. Seeing this, Brian fires and kills the robber, but the bullet passes through the woman's shoulder, wounding her as well. Jim takes out the last robber, finally ending the standoff. Afterward, Jim checks on the injured woman and calls for an ambulance. When Brian wonders if she'll be okay, Jim snaps at him, furious about what he did. At the precinct, Captain Fuller is furious at Jim and Brian for disobeying orders, especially since the injured woman plans to sue them. He fires both from SWAT, but Velasquez asks him to at least keep them on so they might earn their way back. Fuller agrees but demotes them to cage duty, a humiliating job taking care of weapons and gear. Brian is angry, curses Fuller, and storms off. Fuller offers Jim a deal. He can rejoin SWAT if he rats out Brian. Brian decides to quit. Jim tells him he agrees Brian was reckless but refuses to quit. Brian thinks Jim betrayed him, hits his head on a mirror, and leaves. 6 months later, Jim trains in his free time but works in the gun cage. One day, Sergeant Hondo asks Jim to fix his customized M4 rifle. Jim notices the custom work and is impressed. Later, Hondo meets Velasquez to discuss negative press on the LAPD, which forces a department reform. Velasquez asks Hondo to form a new SWAT team with his officers, TJ and Michael, and Hondo agrees to pick 3 more, though Fuller has the final say. Jim goes home and finds his girlfriend moving out. She says things aren't working and he hasn't been the same since being taken off SWAT. He lets her leave. At work, Jim shows he's been inventing new equipment, including a giant hook and chain called the Key to the City. Hondo is impressed by both the invention and Jim's rifle improvements. Later, at the shooting range, TJ outshoots Hondo. Hondo bets $200 that Jim can beat TJ, and Jim wins, surprising everyone except Hondo. Meanwhile, French mobster Alex arrives in Los Angeles. Security almost takes his knife, but he convinces them it's a family heirloom. After receiving a fake passport from his men, he visits his uncle's restaurant, knowing his uncle has been stealing from the family. Alex kills him, then drives away but is pulled over for a broken taillight. Because the car is his uncle's, and there's an active arrest warrant, Alex is taken into custody. He tries to bribe the officers, but fails. Back with Hondo, he recruits Jim as his driver while searching for new SWAT members. They find Officer Deke chasing a suspect. Hondo and Jim join the chase, helping catch the suspect. Deke is angry at first, but calms down when Hondo invites him to join the team. Next, they check another candidate who makes a poor impression, a vegetarian who's overly polite and too much of a stickler for Hondo's taste. They then meet Metro Officer Chris, who has qualified for SWAT several times but keeps getting rejected due to misconduct complaints from suspects. They find Chris's partner guarding a beaten thug in the ER. The bruise is courtesy of Chris. When Hondo meets the officer, he discovers Chris is a woman, short for Christina. Hondo realizes Fuller likely kept her off SWAT because of her gender, using the complaints as an excuse. Chris explains that most of those misconduct claims came from violent men who couldn't handle being beaten by a woman. Hondo is impressed and offers her a spot on his team. Later, Jim asks Hondo if he's going to keep toying with him or finally explain why he brought him along on the recruitment run. Hondo asks Jim if he still wants to be on the team. When Jim hesitates, worried Fuller won't approve, Hondo asks if he betrayed Brian. Jim says no, and Hondo gives him the final spot on the team. At the meeting, Fuller rejects both Chris and Jim, as expected. Hondo refuses to back down. Fuller offers a deal. He'll approve the team, but if they fail the SWAT trials, Chris will go back to her old job, and both Jim and Hondo will be fired. Confident in his recruits, Hondo accepts. Training begins, and the squad starts bonding. It's revealed that Jim's ex-girlfriend is Michael's sister, causing tension that leads to a fight Hondo must break up. The team goes through intense tests in infiltration, armor, weapons, physical fitness, and long-range shooting. Though they struggle at first, they steadily improve. During sniper training, the team shows excellent accuracy. They also practice building infiltrations to rescue hostages safely. Their final test is a simulated hostage rescue on a hijacked plane. 6 armed officers act as terrorists using paintball guns, and the team must finish within 8 minutes. Jim finds a hidden elevator shaft for food trays that only Chris can fit through. Chris crawls inside while the others defuse a trap and enter the plane. The team eliminates all 6 hijackers without losing any hostages, though TJ gets hit. They set a new record, much to Fuller's frustration. That night, they celebrate at Deke's father's cafe. Later, Chris and Jim go to Jim's favorite bar. Brian appears, exchanges a few sarcastic remarks with Jim, and leaves. On his way out, he breaks a picture of himself and Jim. Jim later tries to flirt with Chris, but she turns him down and invites him to her daughter's birthday party. Meanwhile, Alex tries to hire a lawyer but fails and is transferred. The next day, the team enjoys their day off. TJ goes on a date, Hondo and Velasquez golf, Deke spends time with his kids, Michael stays home with his wife, and Jim entertains children at Chris's daughter's party with a water rifle. Their fun is interrupted by an emergency, a Polish hostage situation. A man has barricaded himself in his house and fires a shotgun randomly, claiming all entrances are wired with explosives. Jim uses his key to the city device to tear down the back wall and quickly ends the standoff. Later, a deputy uncovers Alex's true identity. Velasquez orders Hondo's team to escort the prison bus carrying Alex. Alex's gang disguises themselves as cops, stops the bus, shoots the deputies, and frees Alex. Hondo's team blocks their escape. A shootout occurs, civilians flee, and the team recaptures Alex after shooting his stolen car until it crashes. Alex is revealed as an international fugitive wanted for murder, arms dealing, and trafficking. Facing cameras, he offers $100 million for anyone who can break him out, attracting criminal attention across Los Angeles. Hondo's team plans to evacuate Alex by helicopter, but a sniper shoots the chopper. It crashes and explodes on the street. The team brings Alex back inside and decides to move him using a motorcade. They leave in cars and bikes, ignoring fans trying to reach Alex. They are briefly stopped by a homeless man crossing the street slowly, a trap. Gang members attack, trucks crash into police vehicles, criminals open fire, and smoke grenades injure 2 officers and kill a motorcycle cop. When they try to reach Alex, they find only a doll. Alex has been led through a private underground route to unmarked cars several blocks away, while Velasquez watches from above. Hondo's plan works for a while, but Alex insults the team and offers bribes. At a checkpoint, TJ turns on his own team and Brian joins him, shooting Michael and revealing he planned Alex's escape. They handcuff Jim to a car and take Alex into the subway. The rest of the team rescues Jim and calls paramedics for Michael. Hondo and Jim chase the criminals, while Deke and Chris follow another route. They find an empty train with scared passengers and follow a storm drain, losing radio contact. Fuller learns about TJ and Brian's betrayal and sends units to the airport, thinking it's Brian's target. Hondo's team goes through the tunnels, dodging traps. Jim disarms a claymore and opens a locked gate to restore communication. Fuller orders them to quit, but Hondo ignores him and takes a limo to continue the chase. They spot a jet landing on the 6th Street Bridge. Brian takes hostages and boards it. Hondo drives through a roadblock, a gunfight breaks out, and he crashes the plane's landing gear to stop it. Chris is shot, Alex tries to escape, but Deke recaptures him. Brian uses a hostage to repel from the bridge, and Jim follows. Hondo finds TJ, who regrets his actions and asks about Michael. Hondo says Michael will be fine. TJ kills himself. Jim fights Brian on a train yard, dodges trains, and finally kills him. Jim rejoins the team, and Fuller congratulates them but reminds them Alex still needs to go to federal prison. They safely deliver Alex in a SWAT truck. Afterward, a new robbery call comes in, and even though they are tired from a 12-hour shift, the team heads out for their next mission. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.